It's Sylvester. This video is gonna seem like it's a little bit all over the place, but I promise I know where I want to head with this video. Like, I know generally where I want this video to go. I'm gonna talk about things that may seem like they're not connected, but in my brain, they are all kind of connected. So just hear me out. I am a YouTuber. Now, I am not a famous YouTuber. I'm a very, very small YouTuber, a very, very small fish in a very, very large pond. I accept that and I understand that. Though I do wish that I had a million subscribers, I understand that that is unlikely. But regardless, I make YouTube videos and I post them on the internet. I post them on YouTube, which does technically make me a YouTuber. And as such, I have a brand. Now, I know this makes me sound very pretentious, but when you put yourself out there the way that I do, you do kind of have to make yourself into a brand. And so I see the version of me that I put on the internet as sort of like a separate entity to who I actually am. Like, there's the Sylvester Alexander that is a brand, and then there's the Sylvester Alexander that is a person. And so I feel more comfortable being myself when I am being the brand Sylvester Alexander. When I put myself on the internet, and I've said this many times, I feel like I can really be myself when I make videos, but it is still like a version of myself. You know, like what you get in my videos is not necessarily what you're going to get if you meet me in real life. It's going to be similar, but like, who's to say what the real me actually is? Is the real me the version of me that I show to people in real life, or is the real me the person that I put on the internet? It's up for debate. I don't really even know the answer to that question. I've always thought that the version of me that exists on YouTube is the real me, but, maybe YouTube isn't reality. Maybe how I act in real life with real people is the real me. And so, I don't know, it is a little confusing. But part of the reason why I feel more comfortable being what I perceive to be myself, what I perceive to be my true self on the internet, is because I do have this. I am kind of protected by the fact that I see myself as a brand when I'm presenting myself on YouTube. And so when people criticize me, it still hurts. I'm still a very sensitive lad. I still, I'm still learning how to handle criticism, but I feel like I'm able to handle people being mean to me on the internet better than I can handle it in real life. There's just something that's just like harder about looking in somebody's eyes and having them just be rude to me or treat me poorly or judge me or look down on me or whatever. Like, that just, it stings more because it feels like it feels more real. Whereas when people are mean to me in my comments or people are mean to me on YouTube, I can tell myself that they don't hate me, they hate the brand. They hate the version of me that I've chosen to put online, which can be a little bit cognitively confusing because it's like that version of me, the version I put on YouTube, I think is the real me. So if somebody criticizes me on YouTube, you'd think I'd be more offended because they're criticizing the real me. But actually, the reason I'm not comfortable being the real me, quote unquote, in front of people offline is because I am scared of that criticism. It is scarier because if somebody looks me in the eye and they're interacting with me in physical space, then it feels more like they're judging me, the person, than they are the content or the person I put online, like the version of me, the character of Sylvester Alexander. And so, like, I at once see the version of me that exists on YouTube as a character and as the real me. It's very confusing. It's very confusing. And I don't entirely understand it, but it is true. I am very sensitive, and when somebody is mean to me online, they are like I can almost not. It's almost like I don't see them as a real person. They are just a series of words written in my comment section, and I could tell myself that they're anyone. I can say they're probably like some angry 12-year-old who doesn't know how to regulate their emotions yet, or they're probably some grumpy old boomer who like just doesn't like the youth, hates millennials, and like I can tell myself like I can when people look down on me on YouTube, I can, I guess, look down on them and be like, well, why would their opinion matter to me? Why would I care? They're just some person on the internet. I don't know who they are. They're just some person. Like, why do they matter? Why does their opinion matter to me? Why does what they think about me matter? It shouldn't, you know? And so I'm able to deal with it a lot better than if somebody is rude to me in real life. Like, all it really takes is for somebody to not say hi to me, for me to feel this like crushing anxiety. Like it really doesn't take much for somebody in real life to make me feel bad about myself. Like if somebody just like looks at me the wrong way, or like their body language is making me feel like they're judging me, like it really doesn't take much for me to just get in my own head and start thinking like this person hates me and they think all these horrible things about me, and then I start thought spiraling and I start getting into like I have mad anxiety because I just really care what people think about me. I really, really care what people like. And like I spoke to my therapist about this, and she was like, why do you care? Why do you care so much if your neighbors like you? Why do you care so much if people on the street like you? Why do you care so much if people at your church like you? Like, why do you care so much about what other people think of you? How is that affecting you? If somebody thinks bad things about you, how does that affect you? And I thought about it and I said, it I guess I'm not really scared of people thinking mean things about me. I'm scared of them treating me poorly as a result of them thinking mean things about me, and then that hurting my feelings. And I'm part of this support group, which you should join this support group because it is great. It has helped me a lot. I will put a link in the description to a video I made where I explained how to join this support group and how it works, like what the meetings are like, and I explained a lot about this support group in that video. It's a support group that was it's based on the teachings of a man named Dr. Abraham Lowe, and he is considered by some to be the inventor of cognitive behavioral therapy. And so his teachings are very valuable, and I've learned a lot because of the support group. And one thing they talk about is the idea that everyone wants to be exceptional. Everyone wants to be above average. But the truth is, most people are just average, and it is okay to be average. And a lot of people really struggle with a lot of conflict, and a lot of suffering stems from the fact that people see themselves as average and are not okay with that. And so I spoke to my support group. I gave an example during one of the meetings, and I talked about how I had this interaction with somebody, and I felt like they didn't want to be talking to me. I just felt really rejected. And I'm very, very sensitive to rejection. I get really upset. It really hurts me when I feel like people are rejecting me or people just don't like me. And I said to the support group, like, I think a lot of the reason why I was hurt stems from the fact that it was reminding me that I am average, because it is a very average thing to feel rejected. It's very average to have a conversation with someone and feel like they don't want to be having that conversation with you. It happens. Very normal, very common. It's a triviality. It's very, very trivial. Yet, to me, it felt very big. It felt very important. And that is because I didn't want to be average. I didn't want to be somebody who faces rejection and who has trivial experiences like that. I wanted to be exceptional. I wanted to be the kind of person who just like everybody likes and everybody wants to talk to and nobody rejects me, and everybody loves me. Like, I want to be loved by everyone. And that is obviously an extremely unrealistic thing to want. And you're gonna be disappointed if you set your expectations that high. And so it really helped me, because like if I go into a social interaction and I feel like I am not being loved and adored, and like people don't want me to be there, or people are getting annoyed with me, or like people are, I feel rejected for whatever reason, or I feel like my feelings get hurt because my ego is not being stroked, I have to remind myself that that is a very average thing, and it is in fact a triviality, and it doesn't matter that much, and it's okay. It is okay. People are always going to think mean things about me. There's always going to be people in the world who hate me and everything that I stand for. There are always going to be people in the world who see me in a less than flattering light, because I have absolutely no control over what people think. And, I can do as much as I can to make my brand what I want it to be, to present myself in a way that I think is going to be likable, but I can't force people to like me. And that's just life, and if I really do want to be a YouTuber, I have to accept there are going to be people who just straight up hate me, and that's okay. And there are legitimate things to fear there, like even if I get to a point in my life where I don't care what people think about me, and I genuinely am at peace with the fact that a lot of people hate me, and a lot of people think bad things about me, and a lot of people just don't like me. Even if I'm at peace with that, there are people out there who are driven by hate and who do bad things to people that they don't like. So if I were to become a famous YouTuber and somebody really, really didn't like me, there's a possibility that they could dox me, they could stalk me, they could hurt me. I mean, worst case scenario, like think of like, what was her name? Christina Grimmie, I think. Like, I could actually get murdered by somebody, and like there's actual reasons to be scared of being hated by people. So it's not an entirely irrational thing to be upset about people not liking you, because sometimes when people don't like you, they go the extra mile to hurt you. They try to take you down. They try to tear you down. They try to ruin your life. Like, I've had people in my life who didn't like me, and simply because they didn't like me, they spread rumors about me, they gossiped about me in a negative way, they turned people against me, they created, they really caused harm. They really, really harmed me simply because they did not like me. And, like, that's scary. That is scary to think, and that is why we are all hardwired to want to be liked. I mean, humans are social creatures, and, I guess, like, if you go back to when we were wild animals or whatever, we needed to exist in packs, in groups, and the desire to be liked by your peers was a survival instinct, because if you got kicked out of your tribe or group or pack or whatever, if you got kicked out, and you would have to survive on your own, and that would be a lot harder than surviving in a group. So for your own safety, you would want to be liked by your peers. And like that need for safety still exists to this day, because if you get rejected by the pack, so to speak, then you're on your own. And life is a lot scarier to navigate when you are on your own. And so not only is it scary to be hated because people might attack you, but also it is scary because if you are disliked by a large number of people, then you don't have support. You don't have the support you need in order to get through it and protect yourself from it. Does that make sense? Like, I'm scared I'm going to become a famous YouTuber, but I'm going to be famous for all the wrong reasons. I'm going to be infamous. And I'm going to be one of those YouTubers that has more haters than supporters. And that sounds really difficult. You know, that's why I stand up for people like Eugenia Cooney, because I could see myself as her. I could see that happening to me, you know, being the kind of person who, you know, gets what I want, which is fame, but it's for all the wrong reasons, and I don't, and I'll have supporters, but like they won't be enough to protect me from the haters. And you know, maybe the haters will hate me for good reason. I have done and said a lot of things worthy of being hated for. I get that, you know, so but at the same time, I am human and I wouldn't want to have more haters than supporters because that's a scary thing, you know? And yeah, you know, I feel like I felt like I had a clear idea of what I wanted this video to be, but it kind of, and now I'm saying it out loud, I don't think it makes as much sense as it did in my head. Either that or I've over-explained myself and it makes perfect sense and you're like, yes, Sylvester, we get it, you can stop talking now. I don't know. I can never tell. I can never tell if I've over-explained myself or under-explained myself. And I can never tell if I'm able to properly express what's in my brain and put it into words that are understandable for other people. You know, like I don't know. I don't know, but again, that goes back to my fear of not being understood. Because I want to be understood. I want to feel understood, but again, I have to accept the fact that there are going to be people out there who just don't get me, who just don't understand me, and who never will, and that's fine. So, if you don't understand a thing I said in this video, that's okay. Just don't try to dox me. That is all. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Stay frosty. Bye.